What nobody tells you about how the world really works. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about success is a lie? That the people at the top didn't get there by being the nicest, the hardest working, or the most ethical? Stay with me for the next 30 minutes because what I'm about to share will completely change how you see the world around you. And I promise you, once you understand these hidden rules, you'll never look at success the same way again. The uncomfortable truth. Let me ask you something. Look at the people in positions of power around you. Your boss, political leaders, CEOs of major companies. Are they there because they're the most moral people you know? I'm guessing the answer is no. Here's what's really happening. From the moment you were born, society has been feeding you a beautiful story. Work hard, be good, follow the rules, and success will come to you. It's a nice story. It makes us feel good about the world, but it's not true. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at how power really works. Not how we wish it worked, but how it actually operates in the real world. This isn't about becoming evil or hurting people. It's about understanding the game so you can play it effectively. The myth of meritocracy. You know what meritocracy is, right? It's this idea that the best people rise to the top. That if you have talent and work hard, you'll automatically succeed. Sounds fair, doesn't it? But here's the problem. It's mostly fiction. Think about your workplace for a second. Is the person who got promoted last year really the most qualified? Or were they the one who knew how to present themselves better? The one who took credit at the right moments? The one who understood office politics? I've seen this pattern everywhere. The person who stays late every night, does excellent work, and never complains often gets overlooked. Meanwhile, the person who networks strategically, speaks up in meetings, and knows how to make themselves visible gets the promotion. This isn't an accident, it's how the system actually works. Let's look at history for a moment. The Roman Empire didn't become the most powerful civilization in the ancient world by being nice. They conquered, they dominated, they eliminated competition. They understood that power isn't given, it's taken. Look at modern tech companies. Do you think Amazon became a monopoly by playing fair with competitors? Did Apple rise to the top by being charitable to other phone manufacturers? Of course not. They played to win. They understood the real rules while their competitors were still believing in the fairy tale. The two types of morality. Now here's where things get really interesting. There are actually two completely different moral systems operating in our world, and most people don't even realize it. The first type is what I call follower morality. This is what most of us were taught as kids. Be humble. Don't be greedy. Wait your turn. Don't rock the boat. Accept what life gives you. Sound familiar? This morality teaches us that wanting more is selfish, that ambition is dangerous, that we should be grateful for whatever scraps we get. But here's the question nobody asks. Who benefits when everyone follows these rules? The people who are already at the top. Think about it. If you're in a position of power, what kind of behavior do you want from everyone else? You want them to be obedient, patient, grateful, not too ambitious, not challenging your position. So you create a moral system that makes those qualities seem virtuous. Meanwhile, there's a completely different morality operating among people in power. I call it leader morality. Leaders don't wait for permission. They don't apologize for wanting more. They don't feel guilty about their ambitions. They see the world as it really is, a place where you either shape your destiny or someone else shapes it for you. Let me give you some examples. Steve Jobs didn't become successful by being humble and waiting his turn. He was demanding, perfectionist, and absolutely ruthless about his vision. He fired people who couldn't keep up. He ignored critics who said his ideas wouldn't work. Was he following traditional morality? No way. But he changed the world. Elon Musk doesn't ask for permission before launching rockets or building electric cars. He doesn't let experts tell him what's impossible. He operates by leader morality. If he wants something to exist, he makes it exist. Now, I'm not saying you need to be mean to people. That's not what this is about. But you do need to understand that there are two different games being played, and most people don't even know they're in the wrong game. The psychology of power. Let's talk about what separates people who gain influence from those who don't. And it's not what you might think. Most people believe that power comes from being loud, aggressive, or intimidating, but that's actually amateur behavior. Real power is much more sophisticated. The most powerful people I know are often the quietest ones in the room. They listen more than they speak. They observe human behavior. They understand psychology. Here's what they know that others don't. People are predictable. Most people react to anger with anger. They respond to pressure with panic. They make decisions based on emotions rather than strategy. But people who understand power, they stay calm. They think 3 moves ahead. They use other people's emotional reactions to their advantage. Let me tell you about a CEO I know. When his company was going through a crisis, everyone around him was panicking. Board members were demanding immediate action. Employees were worried about layoffs. Competitors were circling like vultures. What did he do? Nothing. At least nothing visible. While everyone else was reacting emotionally, he was quietly analyzing the situation. He was having private conversations with key players. He was positioning his company for the recovery that he knew would eventually come. 6 months later, when the dust settled, his company had not only survived, but had acquired 2 of their competitors who had made panic decisions. That's the power of emotional control. Another example, have you ever noticed how the most successful salespeople aren't the pushiest ones? They're the ones who listen to what you really want, then present their product as the solution to your specific problem. They understand that real influence comes from understanding people, not overpowering them. This applies to everything. In negotiations, the person who seems to need the deal less has all the power. In relationships, the person who maintains their independence while caring deeply often becomes more attractive. In business, companies that solve real problems dominate over those that just try to sell harder. The key insight is this: true power comes from self-mastery first, then influencing others second. Why smart people fail. Now here's something that might surprise you. Some of the most intelligent, talented people I know are stuck in mediocre positions. Meanwhile, people with average abilities are running companies and making major decisions. Why does this happen? It's because intelligence alone isn't enough. You need to understand the social dynamics of power. Smart people often make a crucial mistake. They think that being right is enough. They believe that good ideas automatically win. They assume that merit speaks for itself. But that's not how the world works. I know brilliant engineers who have amazing ideas but can't get anyone to listen to them. I know talented writers who produce incredible content but can't build an audience. I know innovative entrepreneurs whose startups fail because they can't navigate business politics. The problem isn't their abilities. The problem is they don't understand the game. Meanwhile, people with average technical skills but superior social intelligence are becoming their bosses. Here's what the successful ones understand. First, perception often matters more than reality. It doesn't matter how good your idea is if you can't present it effectively. It doesn't matter how hard you work if nobody notices. Second, relationships are everything. The person who gets promoted isn't always the best performer. It's often the person who built the right relationships with decision makers. Third, timing is crucial. Even the best idea presented at the wrong time will fail, but an average idea presented when people are ready to hear it can change everything. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. Two product managers at a tech company both had ideas for new features. Manager A had the technically superior solution. It was elegant, efficient, and would have saved the company millions. Manager B had a decent idea, but nothing revolutionary. Manager A wrote a detailed technical report and submitted it through proper channels. He was confident that the merits of his idea would speak for themselves. Manager B did something different. He started having casual conversations with key stakeholders. He presented his idea as a solution to problems they had mentioned in passing. He got buy-in from influential people before the formal review process even began. Guess whose idea got implemented? The lesson here isn't that merit doesn't matter. It's that merit without strategy is often powerless. The danger of unchecked ambition. Now, before you think I'm encouraging you to become ruthlessly ambitious without limits, let me share some cautionary tales. History is full of people who understood these principles but took them too far. They gained power, but it eventually destroyed them. Look at someone like Harvey Weinstein. He understood how to accumulate influence in Hollywood. He knew how to leverage relationships and control narratives. For decades, he seemed untouchable. But he confused power with invincibility. He thought the rules didn't apply to him anymore. His unchecked behavior eventually led to his complete downfall. Or consider Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos. She understood how to create a compelling vision and attract powerful allies. She raised hundreds of millions of dollars and was celebrated as a genius. But she crossed the line from strategic ambition into deception and fraud. When the truth came out, she lost everything. The pattern is always the same. People gain power through understanding these hidden rules, but then they become drunk on that power. They stop seeing other people as human beings. They start believing their own hype, and that's when they fall. The key insight is this: power is a tool, not a destination. The most successful people in the long term are those who use power responsibly. They understand the game, but they don't let the game consume them. They build influence to create something meaningful, not just to dominate others. They lift people up along the way. They maintain their humanity while navigating the realities of power. Finding your balance. So where does this leave you? You have three choices. Choice one, you can ignore everything I've told you. You can continue believing that the world is fair, that hard work alone guarantees success, and that good always triumphs over evil. If that's your choice, I respect it. But don't be surprised when you keep getting passed over, when less qualified people get promoted above you, when your ideas get ignored while inferior ones get implemented. Choice two, you can embrace these principles but take them too far. You can become cynical, manipulative, and ruthless in your pursuit of power. This might work in the short term, but it's a dangerous path. You'll likely burn bridges, create enemies, and eventually face consequences for your actions. Choice three, you can find the middle ground. You can understand how power really works while maintaining your integrity. You can play the game without losing your soul. This is the path I recommend. Here's what it looks like in practice. You work hard and you make sure people notice your contributions. You develop your skills and you build strategic relationships. You help others and you position yourself for opportunities. You understand that being good at your job is necessary, but not sufficient. You need to also be good at communicating your value, building alliances, and navigating organizational dynamics. You maintain your moral compass while being strategic about how you operate in the world. Let me leave you with this final thought. The world isn't fair, It never has been, and it probably never will be. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. Once you understand how things really work, you have choices. You can use this knowledge to build influence, create opportunities, and make a positive impact. The people who change the world aren't usually the ones who wait for permission. They're the ones who understand the rules of power and use them strategically. But remember, with power comes responsibility. The goal isn't to dominate others or accumulate influence for its own sake. The goal is to gain enough influence to make the changes you want to see in the world. Whether that's building a successful business, advancing your career, or creating something meaningful, understanding these hidden rules will help you get there faster and more effectively. So what's your next move? Start paying attention to the real dynamics around you. Notice who has influence and how they use it. Observe the difference between what people say and what they actually do. Begin building your own strategic thinking. Ask yourself, what do I really want to achieve? Who are the key people who can help me get there? What value can I provide to them? And most importantly, start taking action. Stop waiting for the world to recognize your worth. Start demonstrating it in ways that actually matter. The game is already being played whether you participate or not. The question is, will you learn the rules and play strategically, or will you keep wondering why others seem to get ahead while you're stuck? The choice is yours. If this video opened your eyes to something new, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. And remember, power isn't something you ask for. It's something you build, step by strategic step. I'll see you in the next video.